Summertime, summertime. Så du min, og jeg vild med dig. Summertime, summertime. Honey, solen danser, du og jeg. Hver evig.
Hi there and welcome to this week's astrological forecast for the week starting at the 3rd of July, ending at the 10th. I'm your modern shaman, Maria in Rainbow Land, here from my showroom slash our meditation room slash home in Tokyo, Japan. If you're new to this channel, I am from Denmark and I'm an astrologer, composer and songwriter, and Maria. And I'm a TV journalist. I have been filming 550 programs for Danish television. I'm producing programs for the web, and then I'm making these weekly astrological forecasts. And I have my own clothing label, Rainbow Land. Anything I do is to inspire people to follow their hearts, not trends. That's what I have been trying to do since I was 19. Today I am 39 years old. When I stopped going to school, I started my own business right away, where I tried to follow my heart, and I have been through many different stories, many different things in my life, and this is what taught me about astrology, because I've been following the stars and seeing which aspects and which constellations in the sky created which situations around the world and in my personal life, in the life of friends, etc. So my background in astrology is I learned a lot from my uncle and aunt, 50 years of astrology, professional astrologers, and then life taught me. And I'm also channeling. So it's a combination of astrology and what needs to be said. We start out with the collective forecast, and after that we will go into the personal sun signs. So if you're on this channel right now, you can look down and see if we are on your personal sign. The collective forecast is necessary because it tells about how the world is at large, what we as a collective need to learn, and that's important because you are always interacting with other people unless you are alone, homesick in your bed, or other ways isolated from the world. This is the general energy, and when we go into the personal sun sign, it's more precise of what could be happening or what kind of overall schedule can be for you this week. So we will start out with the sky as it is. And every week it's interesting to see where the moon is, because that's the fastest moving. So that's kind of dictating what's going on a day-to-day basis. And if you look at this is the zodiac, and we can look at the different signs as the rooms we enter. The houses are what are the frames of the rooms. The signs, what's inside the room. And the planets, we just call them all planets, even though some are asteroids, some are luminaries, like the moon and the sun, etc. We just call them planets. The planets are the players, the people or the characters in the room, right? So this is the perspective from which I'm gonna explain the things going on. So when the moon goes through the whole zodiac, it takes 28 to 29 days. And depending on who the moon meets, which planet, it will activate these planets. And depending on which geometric alignments, aspects the different planets make to each other, different sorts of situations, loose, tense, tight, supporting, more challenging, the story will be, or the schedule will be. So it's always important for a weekly report like this, or daily, or monthly for that matter, but to see where is the moon, because that's where the storyline starts on that day. And as this week starts, the moon is in, the moon is in Pisces. So it will go from Pisces into Aries, into Taurus throughout this moon cycle, or this week. So this means that we will start out the week in the meditative, psychological, more behind the scenes, like I am in connection with the universe or God or whatever you want to call it. I'm meditating, I'm out in nature, I'm getting in touch with my spiritual nature. And that's collective because that's kind of connecting to all there is. Because on this side of the zodiac we are in the impersonal signs where it's about other people, groups in different situations and ways. Then we move into Aries and then the whole new cycle starts. The Pisces is the end of the cycle. So we're kind of, as this week begins, ending a lunar cycle and starting a new one with Aries. Where we have the fire, and again it's personal, it's about my identity, where I want to go in the world. The new ideas come, the inspiration, etc., the fire, the passion. And then it goes into Taurus where it's, okay, let's manifest these ideas, let's see if they work in real life, and etc. But throughout this journey it activates different things. It will start by crossing over Neptune here in Pisces, and we can roughly say that Neptune is in a grand trine this week. We can talk about exact aspects and constellations where it's like, okay, it's in 16 degrees, 16 degrees, 16 degrees, that's an exact constellation. But even if it's 3 degrees apart, it's still, you know, in contact with each other. So it will activate this grand trine. You can see there will be a trine between the Sun, Jupiter, the Sun in Cancer, Jupiter in Scorpio, and Neptune over here in Pisces. And the Moon will activate this as we start this week. These are the intuitive signs. These are the water signs, or ether you also say. And let's just keep it simple here. And these signs are all about our past, in one way or the other. Pisces is about letting go, surrendering. It's about how can I surrender myself to this life, to God, or to whatever you want to call it. How do I stop my ego from coming in and wanting this and that and keep holding on to something tightly? How do I let go? And this report this week for me is, or I have chosen to call it, letting go of the role of the victim. The reason why I do astrology is, I even started going into it myself, was to understand why these situations, these different situations occur to me in my life. Why does this pattern keep on repeating itself? Why do I keep on meeting these kinds of people? Instead of feeling like I'm a victim, oh, now society did this to me. Oh, now my boss did this to me. Why does my boyfriend always say this or do this, or girlfriend always cheat on me, or mom always bug me, etc. This is because astrology can help you understand. You don't need astrology. You can also just ask yourself, close your eyes and ask inside your heart, or I call it follow your heart. My twin flame, my partner, Martin Mikkelsen, he would call it the higher self. I would also, but he is writing a book about the higher self, and that's how he says it. Why not ask your higher self? You don't need astrology, you don't need tarot, you don't need other external forces. You have all answers within you, in your heart. That's why I always say, don't follow trends, follow your heart. And in all piece of clothes I design, in every song, and in any program, I always keep repeating this, because I'm not the one holding your answers. I'm just trying to guide you to what you already know, because we all know all the answers if we open up. If we dare to let go and release anything that's clouding our minds. And that's what the Moon in Pisces can activate, because it activates Jupiter in Scorpio, which is deep transformation on a very deep level, a journey we've been trying to transform since 2012. I'm not going to go further into why I'm saying that. You can see that in other programs. And then we have Cancer here, which is your personal life, your inner child, in combination of the deep transformation of heavy, deep inner stuff, deep wounds, long time, old, past wounds, and the inner child when it was not heard, nurtured, or supported, and whatever you need to let go of up here in Pisces, and surrender this to life and say, okay, I'm not the role of the victim. Now I will start asking myself, how can I change so that this doesn't keep repeating? I would use these times, not only because of that, also because of the Mars retrograde. I talked about it last week when I said that Mars is going to come into a square again, as it was in the end of May, with Uranus. So what I meant was it's a long process of this Mars retrograde as it goes backwards and then forward again, of this particular thing that you feel is the heaviest thing in your life right now. And if it's 2, if it's 3 things, don't feel like a victim. Just feel like, oh, probably I consider myself strong enough to deal with all of these, so I will have trust in that my higher self or inner stronger, the soul part of myself is strong enough to handle it, otherwise it wouldn't be on my plate. So we need to find some trust and trust the process and not escape from it. We live in a culture, which is also the water signs. They say that the Pisces are the ones that drink red wine, Cancer beer, Scorpio drinks. I'm not saying that I know this is right. I don't drink. Even in my younger years, it's not that I haven't tried to be completely drunk or anything like that. It's just that it's ruining my vibration spiritually. So I'm meditating every day, trying to keep up the energy high. If I drink, I will take it down again, and I don't have to build it. And I don't really need it. I'm the type that would just, if you ask me now, I would get up and dance. I don't have these restrictions that I need alcohol to. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing just for everyone to drink alcohol, but for me, with my purpose and my job as a guide and a channel, it will just clutter the whole field of energy. But the point is that here there can be a tendency to escape because we are longing for that inner connectedness with all there is. But I strongly advise you not to do so, not to escape through medicine either. Like, the thing is that we are now with the Sun in Cancer. Once a year for a month, we're in Cancer. We need to get in contact with our personal feelings, what's going on inside of us. And often it hurts. There are things that hurt, and we don't understand. We're like, oh, again, this role of a victim. I'm not saying that I don't feel empathy for you, because I'm also going through hard things. I also have things and people to let go of. So I'm not at all saying that I'm better than any of you. I'm just trying to help so that you take responsibility for whatever is going on. Because often in this society, we go to the doctor and we say, oh, we are so sad, I'm so sad. Oh no, you can't be sad. You know, that's society's response as it is in the Western world. Take some pills, you know, then you will be happy, because we can't have you walking around being sad. And then I'm asking, why is it not allowed to be sad? To feel sorrow? And what do you think happens if you actually have sorrow or sadness inside and you go and drink, you take some medicine or do drugs or whatever you do? What will happen to those feelings? Do you think they will go away from escaping from them? No, they come up because our whole system, our body, mind and soul, are such intelligent, or we are so intelligent creatures. Our body is intelligent. It will tell you through pain that something is out of balance here. It's the body shouting hello, or your system shouting hello, something is not right here. Then you have to look upon, okay, is it something in my life, something I'm doing, something I'm repeating that is not right? Try to hear what it's saying. And it doesn't necessarily take a scientist. It takes for you to develop your intuition, the strength of this trine, grand trine. Because then you can hear your soul speaking. or your higher self, as Martin would say, call it, or your heart. And then you don't need a drug to escape, because then you'll just suppress that feeling and it will come up at another time. And imagine if you've done this hundreds of times, how much you've stuffed in here, and why it always comes up as a shock whenever on the schedule it's time to get these things up. You get a shock because all of these feelings, why are they there? Now it's time to look upon, why are they there? Which old patterns do I have? How can I change it? Accept that you're sad. Stay in that sadness until you are ready to say, I will let you go. You don't need to hold on for it and talk about it for years. You can ask for that intelligent, undestroyed part of yourself to release it. And then give yourself the quiet time to do so. You cannot just by having the television running while you're drinking, while you're doing this, stimulating on the internet. If you do that all the time, when does your system have time to release? I don't care which system you use. I use heartfulness. But you can use whatever spiritual system. Maybe you want to be a Buddhist. Maybe you don't want to be anything at all, but just use the tools, as I am doing as well. I won't call me something in particular, any religion or anything like that. No, I'm using the tools that my heart is telling me to use for me to evolve. And as we have Saturn, as we have Mars retrograding in Aquarius. Aquarius is about the future. Which future do we want? And Mars is an aggressive sign that has frustrations and things, anger that it needs to let go of, or specifically in this time. So we have to just make sure that we don't just release it on other people. It's your fault. But try to be responsible in this process so that you can create the right future. Aquarius for yourself. Aquarius is also about friendships and circle of friends, people around you. So you can ask yourself, as it's going retrograde, it's it's revising, rediscovering which friends, which people, which circles is it good for me to hang around? Is there something I need to change in this process? And how can I follow my heart as I choose what's good for me and let go, and in a diplomatic way communicate to these people why it's no longer time. Maybe these people then realize something through what you're saying and you're actually doing them a favor. Maybe they want to come along but didn't know that they was suppressing a side of you because you never told them. Or maybe it is time to say goodbye. But that's the letting go here of Pisces. Goodbye. Thank you for the lessons. Thank you for the love. Anyone on our path is our teachers, I will say. Anyone we meet has something to teach us. Even the ones that we don't like to admit that are our teachers. This week is also Venus' last tour in Leo before it goes into Virgo. And it will go through the last decan. So this is definitely about following our heart and feeling what our inner core of our heart really wants in our connections with others, in our values. Are the values that we are actually living also the ones that we really feel are right for us? In our circles, Mars up here. We also have some months, more than some months left with the North Node in Leo. And we have Mercury here. And it's going to come halfway as this week ends. Oh, the magnets are. It's going to go halfway through Leo. I'm sorry if this is reflecting the light. It could be. I was trying to keep it a little, but I have three LED lights here. But I'm hoping that you can see this. If not, it's okay. I'm also just mentioning it at the same time. Next week we will have an eclipse in Cancer. What I want to say about that is that this solar eclipse in Cancer, I'll say it short because we'll take it next week, is very important. There will be a lunar eclipse at the end of July, which is what this Mars retrograde is preparing us for. I just talked about the future and the circles of people, having the right friends around you, but also detaching from emotions that are no longer serving you, but not let your frustrations and anger go to other people. And we will also have, like, Jupiter is going retrograde over here, and it's been for 3 months, right? In Scorpio. It will go forward next week. So we have some shiftings next week that are important, very important. So, but the energy then, as we are letting go, going into the moon, going into Aries, then into Taurus. I need to get some film so that this doesn't reflect. I was just thinking about that. I went to Nippon, one of the biggest companies in Japan, a printing company, because of a collaboration I'm gonna make with them with my brand, and also some television probably this week. It's a huge collaboration. They make things for cars, computers, television, La Louvre in France, museums, print money, print anything you can print upon, food. I have never seen such a big company, and I got a personal tour because of the collaboration we're gonna do. And these Japanese people are so amazing. We could learn so much from their kindness and gentleness. The way I was received as I got there, the way they gave me the tour, like the man I'm working with there, an older Japanese guy, he has such a great heart. It's amazing. And the reason why I'm saying it is also because of the kindness that we need to be kind, like the Japanese are to other people. This kindness, you have to be kind to yourself and not beat yourself up once you realize, okay, maybe I cannot just blame the other people. We need to realize that other people are where they are for reasons. If you had their horoscope, you would probably be the same place. You are not necessarily right, but this is what's right for you. So as the moon moves into Aries, and it just wants to go forward, be careful not to shoot anyone down on your quest to go forward. Maybe they have another quest, and that quest isn't necessarily wrong just because something else is right for you. I'm repeating that. Because sometimes we can get into conflicts with others, because here in Aries it's going to square things down in Cancer and the bad boys up here in Capricorn. So during this week, as Mars is also going to be in opposition to Mercury, and the communication can be a little tense, and then the moon is going to, here we have Mercury in opposition to Mars, and the moon going into Aries. So it can be a little wild as we go to the weekend. The feisty Aries energy, use it in a positive way. Remember that anything I say, nothing is bad, really. Because there's a part of us that knows that it's all good, and you just need to lean back, as you of course do your work, because with Saturn that's active in our charts, we have to do hard work, but at the same time, let your soul enjoy this ride and enjoy anything as it unfolds. Try not to control too much. I want this to happen, I want that. You know, we go into Aries, the ego, and then the Taurus wants to manifest this and have that. That's the last part of the week, as the moon is going there. And we think a lot about ourselves. But basically, our soul knows that we are all connected on a deeper level. So there's no need to force things through. The universe is going to unfold the plan step by step, whether you want it or not, or whether you like it or not personally. But your inner core, the higher self, knows that it's all like it's supposed to be, and that we planned this at one level, some level or another. Our soul made a schedule, and therefore, as I said in the beginning, this program I will call it the role of the victim, and letting go of playing the victim. You don't need to play a victim. I know this may be provocative to your ego, but you made this plan for you. there's someone, Charity from Heartfulness, a master that died recently actually, beloved master, he said that until you reach the state of complete purity, anything that happens in your life is a reflection of you. Take that. And I'll give that 10 seconds of silence. Anything that happen around you is a reflection of things going on inside you. So who's responsible and who can change it? Let me go into the personal sun signs now. So this is the PSer for the collective, especially for Aries because it happens in Aries, but it's for all of us, and it gets its own section because this is one of the very important things, if you ask me, for this week. For the first time in 50 years, Chiron goes retrograde in Aries. Chiron is where we feel inadequate, where we are broken somewhere inside, where we feel ashamed of ourselves. It's the wounded healer, it's called. Because as Chiron had to heal his wounds, long story, I told it in another section, won't tell it again now, but you can ask and I will comment in the comment section if you want to know more. As Chiron healed from his wounds, he became the wounded healer and specialist in healing wounds. So Chiron is in Aries. What is Aries about? Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It is the first little plant that breaks through the soil, the sprout of the energy arising after a long winter. It's spring coming. It's our identity. It's our expression of self. And when Chiron goes retrograde there, because it just came into Aries recently, only a few months ago, we started dealing with this part of ourselves, which is perhaps the worst and the most critical part of our soul, not of our soul, but our soul in the body as human beings. And that is when we feel like that we are not wanted for who we are. When we feel like someone wants us to not be there. When we feel we are adequate to exist. We don't feel like we belong here because people don't want us here. Someone don't want me here as I am. People want you to change because you are not good enough for who you are. You can be here, but only if you are not yourself. And in Aries, because Aries is about your identity, I want to go this direction. What do I want? What is my identity? But the crisis, the wound you can have here is when people don't like you. I don't like you. I don't like who you are. The feeling of someone saying that without words, with words, whenever during your life or in lifetimes. This is the wound we're healing. I'm Aries. I have Mars within the first degree of Aries. It just went into Aries. So I've had Chiron now moving over my Mars in Aries. And I tell you that I have been confronted with old wounds of me and the family, not my mom and my dad, not being wanted if I stood out as a spiritual person. I was considered lunatic and brainwashed for having my spirituality. This wound is coming up now, and I have to stand up towards this part and say I am allowed to be here as I am. I'm not trying to convince you to be spiritual as me, but there cannot be rules. That's what I'm going through. For that this group of people can be exactly how they are, scientists, professors or whatever we have in our society. But you can only say what we want. If you say something from your group, you're not wanted here anymore. This is an old wound of mine, more than 20 years and lifetimes, long story. Maybe you have something similar in your life. This is not the only part. It's also about the environment I am in often in my life these days, these times. I have to fit in, and I have to cut a toe, what do you call it in English? Cut a heel and cut a toe, you know, like in Cinderella when she has to fit the shoes. Cut. Actually, I have a wound here on my toe from wearing shoes that weren't nice. Anyways, my point is just that wherever you feel like you identity-wise are not welcomed as you are, this is the time to heal this wound. Now Chiron is going retrograde. We have the ability to look over it again and see how we can heal this section of a part of ourselves. How we can be as we are, whole, and not needing necessarily to say it out loud or shout it out loud. I am like this, you know. It's more that peace you feel when you rest harmonically, peacefully in your own identity, with no need to shout, no need to do anything, because you know that you are welcome and okay just the way you are. And if you are not, it has nothing to do with you. Also, the acceptance of that is amazing. That is what I'm working upon. Accepting the people that don't appreciate me for who I am without judging them. Saying they come from where they come from, and that is also okay. This goes for all signs. Identity-wise, of course, through each sign it will be something different. For Taurus, it's in the 12th house of the spirituality, the way they approach their identity of spirituality, or the contact with God, or psychological nature. Again, when I say God, I don't mean religion at all. It's just an expression for whatever created us. You know, to put words on whatever created this is also already then a little wrong, because something that big in one little word. For Gemini, it's the 11th house. It's the identity within groups, circles of friends, etc. Cancer, it's the 10th house. It's how they express themselves at their work, at their career-wise, their uniqueness of how they express themselves in their career. There's a room for this. The Leos, it's the 9th house. The spirituality and the guru-like condition where you have the grand overview in their special way. The Virgos. For the Virgos, it's in the 8th house. So this is where they share resources with others, forces beyond their control, deep transformation, how they transform on a deeper level and connect sexually to a partner in their own special way. Then we have Libra. I'm turning the wheel inside of my head here. I didn't rehearse for this. I do not try to do this spontaneously. So if I have some Earth, sometimes it's because I'm trying to let the flow let me know what to say. For the Libras, it's about the partner. Crisis within, how am I in a partnership? Can also be that for Aries, actually. It's not only identity, it's on this axis, the partner axis. How do the partners see me and welcome me as I am? Can I be like I want to be in a partnership, or is my partner not accepting me for who I am? Then the Taurus, it's the day-to-day lifestyle, routines, the work they do every day is like they like to do it their own way. And has there been a neglection of that from someone that didn't want the Scorpios to express themselves in their own way in this regards? Then we have the Sagittarius in their romantic life with their romantic partners or with the children, or just the creative expression of being in love with life in their own special way. For the Capricorns, it's the family, How are they within the family? Oof, that's not easy. Such an important thing, like in their personal life, being accepted for how they are, who they are in their personal life. I have very dear friends and also many people I did readings for, being Capricorn, that really have a crisis on this one, where they aren't really accepted for how they want to build a family and do things. Aquarius, for Aquarius, is the third house of communication. How do I express myself? How do I, go about when I spontaneously express my way of communicating, my way of thinking, because it's sudden epiphanies and ideas, the Aquarian mind, and maybe they're not accepted for this way of detaching and in their mind being able to jump so fast and so genius-like, but being criticized for being not being right, perhaps in this way. For the Pisces, is their values, their habits, their finances, the way they run this, a crisis within this, and we also have the personal sun signs, of course, which will come now. I will talk more about Chiron, of course, as we go along. I can just say and sign that this has not been easy, but I can also feel how much I will benefit from it. And all of us, if we grab and own our thing and heal it and be gentle with ourselves and find ways to clean it out so we don't get stuck in it, and to get across the barrel, or what do you call it, when you have to get over a fence to move on or something, this is what we need to do, and have faith in that you can do it, because one thing I'm sure of, for sure, is that it is possible for all of us to heal our wounds. For sure. So let's move on to the sun signs. Thank you. Hi there, Pisces. So now it's your turn to shine here with the sun in your 5th house, and watching a really, really nice aspect, a grand trine with Jupiter in your 9th house. This is you expressing yourself through creativity, through dance, having your inner goddess or god revealed to the world, expanding your mind through travel, just really following your heart and feeling like you're worthy of it. And in Leo, we allowed that side to come out, and you are so expressive through music, through dance, through anything where you let your emotions free and out there. But the thing is that Chiron is going retrograde in Aries, and this is your 2nd house, at the same time as we're having a quarter moon square between the sun and the moon, a 3rd quarter moon square, also in Aries. This means that because the sun is in this beautiful spot where you can express yourself and go out there and show the world how you like. Also, if you have a partner, the affectionate side of you, where you want to just enjoy the romantic side of life, or hang out with your children in a fun way. Then, as the quarter moon square comes along at the end of the week, not the astral week, but the actual week, Friday, Saturday, then you can have there can be some problems, because the 2nd house is your values. It's not only your financial values, it's also your own values, your self-values, your habits, what you like to do, and also the way you look. And if there's a problem with this here, it can be you not, you really want to express yourself, but you don't feel like you look good enough, or you are good enough, or you know, there's something that you nitpick about yourself. Oh, this part of myself I don't value enough. If only that would change, then I could be having a better time with my partner, or with other people, you know. Or perhaps like financially, there's something that's getting on your nerve or nagging you. And then we also have in your 12th house, your natural 12th house, we have Mars, which is now retrograde, asking you to also spend some time meditating and receiving the gifts that the universe have and the lessons, but it's in opposition to Mercury over there in your 6th house. So it might be that someone will criticize you and make you feel like, because people always come to reflect what's going on inside of us. So maybe someone is criticizing this side of yourself in your self-worth that you don't value enough, someone from the outside. And you, Pisces, you are so beautiful and you have so much to share. So as the weekend comes along, don't overindulge in anything that escapistic, you know, through overeating, drinking, doing drugs or whatever. Try to stay present and let the universe, for example, through meditation, through quiet time, silent time, or just, you know, going into, put on the music that you love, dance to it, and go into a state where you allow your meditative nature to shine through and handle the stuff, instead of, you know, then you can get into transic states where you don't need drugs or other things that makes you feel that you're not connected to all there is. Because in Pisces we are connected to all there is. This is when we are connected with Creator or God or love or whatever you want to call whatever created us, the force, the source, because there's so many gifts for you here. Even though there will be something nagging you, someone criticizing about you, how you run your day-to-day life, your work life, your routines, your organizational skills, you know, but you should enjoy yourself, because there are very good aspects for that, where you really express yourself and love life, enjoy life, but give yourself the time to heal and clean out whatever it is that's nagging you in your self-worth. And remember, don't follow trends, follow your heart. And now to the food through the signs, where my father has a funny suggestion to which food would you serve Pisces and how would you serve it. That's going through all the signs with this. So yeah, thanks for this time. So welcome to this week's special. This week it's about how the different signs would eat, or what they would eat. Just a brief one. And if you don't agree with it and think that your sign is very different from that, please let me know through a comment. This is just how I imagine it. I was having this conversation with my father and he was like, this is how I think they would do it. And he's so funny. So yeah, the different signs, that is. So let's start with Aries. What Aries likes, I assume, is to, you know, have some fresh things to put in their food, you know, fresh vegetables, or maybe just a really strong beef or something that can give them strong proteins. Well, now I'm a vegetarian, so that wouldn't be the case in my case. But you know, something that can give them some energy, and they're athletic. They love to eat, to move and do sports and stuff like that. But it can also be that when they're talking, or when they're eating, they'll just be like very fast on to the next thing, because yeah, you know, then they can get all the things done that they are starting, because they start new things and they have to eat fast, and while they're eating they have an idea of what then they can do, then they have to hurry up.
There is this angel singing, I'm gonna find my way back
So Pisces, this is my father again. We blame it on him. He would say anything that gets you.
Summer, summer, summertime, summertime. Så du min, og jeg vild med dig. Summer, summer, summertime, summertime.